Good evening. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So, my name is Nancy Boler, and this is a Tuesday night. This is our level 2 yoga. And in this class, now that I have been doing this on the live stream and that a lot of these classes are now archived and you can go back and take those classes also, that I'm trying to do like just a slightly different practice every week. And this week we're going to focus on the core of the body and possibly just start to set up the causes and conditions to move into a headstand. So what's great about headstand is that there's most of the work is the foundational work for it. So it's actually said that when you move into one of these more intermediate poses, that it's actually easier because you've done all of the preliminary work. And then it's like, oh, well, look at that. I'm just moving into a headstand. Like it's just, you've done all of the work. A lot of it is in the core. And so that, yeah, the foundational work is the hard part. So that's a lot of what we'll build up to. And then we'll just see what are the stages that move into a headstand. Then, so it's really important then in this level 2 that our mindfulness is also at level 2. Otherwise we could do some harm. We could practice kind of mindlessly, and it would actually, increase our stress or our pain. So let's make sure then that there is this connection to the body and it stays there. Let's go ahead and start then. You could just close your eyes and take maybe 3 deeper breaths. And as you're breathing, bringing complete, full awareness here and now. You might even notice like what is weighing on you, what's weighing on your shoulders today. What is the mind obsessing about that keeps looping around and around and around? So you're very clear right now. I'm feeling my whole body. So when we take then these deeper breaths, it's quite remarkable. Like we'll notice like, this is what it feels like when I start to wake up through the body, sitting upright, tall, and even just start to reach your arms out to the side, way out to the side. Let your throat really relax, soften. Breathe through your nose. Keeping the throat really soft. Maybe even a sigh. And start to move your hands around. Let the hands circle around. Make fists with your hands. And then reach through the fingers. Take one side stretch, just dropping left arm, bringing that right arm up. Breathe through your nose. And then just switch sides, bringing that right arm down, the left arm reaching up. And then just letting go. Good. Let's let go of seated pose. We're going to continue doing a little warm up as usual. So you could clear your mat And let's just drop right down onto your elbows. So as you bring yourself back here, make sure that then your chest isn't just sinking down. Actually, you're lifting up through your spine. Start to do a bicycle action through your legs, making sure you can feel the effort to really straighten your leg and then bend it, straighten, bend. So it's not just like these kind of soft bent knees. You're really working that action of straightening, bending, keeping the lift, the lightness of the breastbone, and that steady breath through your nose. So you can tell I am completely, fully here. So this aspect of mindfulness is that mindfulness, by its very nature, is complete. You're not just partially here. Now, move right onto your back. And as you recline on your back, take your arms out to the side and take your legs wide apart in a wide V shape. Maybe not as far apart as you can. Rather, you're really reaching through the legs, through your heels, and get a sense that your breastbone is light and lifted. And actually, your whole spine is a little lifted up from the floor. This is going to engage your back muscles. Move your feet around. Circle your feet so your ankles are moving. Breathe through your nose. Listen to your breath. Because as you listen to your breath, it's going to bring your full awareness to your breath rather than all of the chatter in your mind. Make sure the feet move both ways, both circular direction. Move your toes. Good. And then just hug the knees right into the chest, a squeeze in here. Lift your head and take this into just a little tiny little ball here. You might even really squeeze your knees in and kind of lift the sacrum up away from the floor. Lift your shoulder blades up. And then as you release this, drop your head down and just hold your right thigh, lengthen your left leg against the mat. Wide across your chest here. And as you're holding that right thigh in, start to straighten your right leg. Straighten, straighten, straighten. But continue to keep the thigh firmly hold into the chest here. Straightening. It might feel like you can't quite fully straighten the leg due to the fact that you're really keeping that thigh really close into the chest, to the body here. And then you're just switching sides. Keep that, or let that right leg now extend out. The left thigh draws in. So maintain awareness of the breathing and start to straighten that left leg. Try not to let the thigh really lift away from the body. So explore that straightening out, keeping that right leg also really straight. Keeping the lips soft and relaxed, the throat really relaxed here. Good. And then just letting that go. Bend both knees, bring the feet to the floor, and just start to reach your arms up overhead. Keeping the arms straight here. Reach, 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 reach. Lightly touch your thumbs. Just the thumb tips touch the floor. And then the arms come up, and then you reach the arms up overhead again. Lengthening out here. And do this a few times. That lifting, lowering of the arms. Waking up that strength through your shoulders. And the awareness. I'm breathing as I do this. I'm not tensing. Keeping your mindfulness complete. Not straining. Good. Now, as you let this go, you're going to hug the knees into the chest and just swing your feet so you come right back up, and even take just a little Navasana boat pose here with the knees bent at first, little hold of the thighs, and then start to straighten both legs. Make sure you're not sinking your chest here, so you get that lift up of even your whole spine really lifted up. And then just drop back onto your elbows. And this time start to straighten both legs. Now this one is an easy one for like your navel to pull in. So let's take the feet down and really lift your sacrum up here. So don't let this drop down. You're not tucking your tailbone under. Rather, you're lifting way down at the sacrum. And then maybe straighten one leg and then the other leg, and just do this a little back and forth, and then maybe both legs. And try not to pull the navel down. Good. And then as you come up, soles of the feet go together. Baddha Konasana, you reach your knees way out to the side, open through your hips. And again, not pulling the navel in. Lift not only your chest, but even your middle back contracting. Come in a little more upright here. Nice breath, listening to the breath and feel the wave of breath as it moves into the body. So let's pause here and just take the legs in front of you. So this is the pose then of Dandasana, where you're upright, but it's kind of a unique pose in that when your legs are straight, your toes are pointing up, that it's a good pose to explore that completeness of being upright. And that it's not just like a lift of your chin, that you're really feeling this like straight up. So your lower back, your lumbar, your sacrum is lower than your lumbar. Even that draws in. And then breathing here, take your hands on your lower ribs. So right at the base of the edge of your lower ribs, that area moves as you breathe. Grounding right at the very top of your thighs, grounding down, and then lifting up right through the crown of your head. Take your hands up, interlace your fingers, and just place your hands palms down on the crown of your head. And explore that lifting up. Even where are you placing your hands here? Not too far back or towards the front of the head, but straight up. So you might even feel like your whole throat lengthened and open. And this you'll probably sense that the back is really working. Your back muscles are working. And then release the arms down. So that back strength, maybe get a little body memory of what that feels like, because we really need that back strength in any variation of exploring a headstand. So important. Otherwise, if the back isn't strong, then the weight is going to go to your neck, where you do not want your weight to be moving into your neck vertebra. So let's let this go. Just move on to all fours. We'll do some big leg movements here. Take the knees together, hands under your shoulders, and just reach your right leg way back. And then that bend of the right knee, you just open that leg up to the side, and you drop down, and then the left leg goes back. Bend that left knee, lift the thigh up out to the side and down. Now just breathe and do this back and forth. This is a good one too. Maybe close your eyes. Just get into the repetition of I'm breathing and I'm moving. So when mindfulness is complete and full, There's a complete release of any feeling of being disappointed with your body, or maybe like dissatisfied with your body in any way. Mindfulness really then compassion and great understanding. Take this right back to your downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, start to lift up. Maybe as you look back to your toes, just roll through your feet a little bit. Just walk your dog, let the toes spread. And feeling your hands also, the grounding. It gets you really ground now into the floor. And you lift your pelvis way up, deep in your hips, lifting up. Sensing now the spine lengthening as you reach your hips back, pelvis back. Neck is long. Take 3 deep, full breaths here. In any way, just fully embracing, accepting, and how the body feels today. And then come to standing. Just walk forward. Bring yourself all the way up. Now let's keep the feet parallel. Let's move through what some of these, sometimes called half sun salutation, where you bring your arms all the way up. Just a big inhale, ground your feet, and you go all the way over to a forward bend. But then you lift up to a flat back. Now, you can really choose like what you do with your arms. I like to make sure that I look really wide across the chest. And then fold over again. You exhale. So now with the breath, you would inhale. You come all the way up. One exhale all the way over. One inhale to your flat back. And then one exhale over. And coming up. Move and breathe. Follow your breath. It's good to not do this in a way that you're straining or trying to push your body to some, kind of overachieving. So breathe and move. Keep the sense of the feeling of grounding through your feet and the flow of breath, like through your nose. You're listening to your breath. Good way of warming up through the spine, through your legs. Next time that you fold over, you go right back to your down dog. And then just gradually move to your plank pose. So as you're holding your plank pose, see if you could feel like your heels are reaching back, and then the crown, that your crown of the head is reaching forward. Close your eyes. Very firm, strong legs. Then slow motion, you go back to down dog. In no way is the spine rounding. You might be working to keep the spine in the body. And then as you move through your plank now and onto the floor. Moving to your cobra pose, your back bend, wide across the chest. Let's just lengthen and lift the legs a little bit. Listen to your breath. Moving back to your down dog. Step the right foot forward. Big step, high lunge. Now from your high lunge, you're actually going to step this right into that pose of the standing splits. So this means you step forward onto the right leg, the left leg lifts up. So the right leg is straightening. You're really working the back of the left leg, your left buttocks to lift that left leg up. Drop your head. And then that left foot comes down. Push right into both feet to come all the way up. Lifting, take palms together in front of the heart. And just pause here. Grounding, lifting. Moving again to your sun salutation. The arms come up. You fold forward. Move back to your down dog. Throat soft. Your plank pose. You might close your eyes or bring in that little half smile. And as you lower down onto your belly, you're moving to your back bend. So you could go to cobra, you might lift your legs, you might reach your arms back. Breathing. Moving back to down dog. See, my dog has joined us. And the left foot steps forward. Your lunge, big lunge position. Your standing splits. You move, balance on your left leg. You lift your right leg up. Your forward bend. Now there's most of your weight on your left leg. Foot comes down. Push right into both feet. Come all the way up. Take palms together in front of your heart. So a great pose then, just to briefly work your core, is in your tree pose. I would suggest even keeping your left toes down for a moment as you balance on your right leg, because you really do want to hold this pose without falling. So you're just steady, 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 holding, rather than falling out of the pose, coming out, falling, falling. So, in other words, it doesn't matter what your left leg is doing. It's more about building that strength for your standing leg and right up through your spine. You're going to reach your arms up here. And then bend your elbows and interlace your fingers as if you were in a headstand. So reaching up through your elbows. Strength right around your whole waistband. And then just release, just bringing that left foot down. And then balance on the other leg. So as you're balancing on your left leg, you did the right first. Again, you might keep your toes down. I'm not so concerned about that, what that leg is doing. It's more about holding, feeling the sole of your foot, that grounding, the lifting up, and getting that firm connection, that sense of right through the core of the body. steady. Now, you might bring your arms up. You might practice, well, what would I do in a headstand with my hands? You might interlace your fingers. Don't let the elbows wing out. They stay in, and you reach up through your forearms, maybe elbows. Lengthening through the center of the body, to the crown of your head. Good. As you release, the arms come down. Forward bend, folding forward. Move right into your down dog. Into your plank pose. And then into your down dog. And just do a few of these back and forth, getting a sense that your arms and your legs are straight and your spine stays straight. So you're not needing to round your back at all. Just feeling that strength in the head, strength through your neck. And then just play with moving right into your side plank. Taking your right foot back, roll onto the outer right foot. You can keep left fingers down as you place your left foot on top of the right. And then gradually open up. So what a great one for your core strength. We get that lightness of the chest. And we're going to switch sides. So you bring that top hand down. You could go to down dog for a moment. Nice to just gain firm ground here. And then rolling onto that outer left foot. The left foot back, pushing back. Right foot on top. Opening. Firm steadiness. So there's that work right around the lower abdominal area. The whole center of the body, firm and strong. Arm comes down, moving back to your down dog. Your plank. Onto the floor. Moving to your cobra. So cobra is a great pose for the upper thoracic, which we really need in something like a headstand. So you do not want to be sinking your chest in. There's that very specific feeling of wide across your chest. Lengthen, lift your legs. Open, spread your toes. And then as you release, the toes tuck under you back to your down dog. Now lift your heels up. And we're going to practice just kind of a springy action here of moving forward with a little hop. So when you hop forward with your feet, you might hop just to the center of your mat, or you might really kind of get springy and hop up towards your hands. But let this be just an even, steady kind of feeling. In fact, we're going to practice this. So you're going to lift your heels, get a little springy feeling, and then hopping wherever your feet land. Step back again. Down dog, little springiness, and hopping. Step back again. Keeping the hips really lifted and light. Lift your heels and hopping. And then come up to standing. All the way up. Ground your heels. And then just bring your arms down. Close your eyes. Breathe. Listen to your breath. Really feel your feet. So let's take just briefly hands on the lower ribs, just to get a feeling of your chest, your rib area. And we're going to just practice twisting. So you're going to be twisting just your spine and trying not to really twist with your pelvis twisting. Like your hip bones are going to stay forward. So bring your arms down and just play with this. Keep your feet grounded and start to twist and open to your right. So as the shoulders rotate, you're actually working to keep the hips pointing forward. And then just release that. Stay tall through the crown of your head. And then twist your left. So could you feel both the two efforts of not only the shoulders wanting to rotate into the twist, but the pelvis staying forward. And then as you come back to the center, untwisting, we're going to reach the arms out to the side. And just notice the difference here. Ground your heels and start to twist. Keep your hip bones pointing forward. Breathe. Lengthen through your throat. And then untwist. Staying tall, open to your left. So this is a good one to notice something like craving and wanting. I mean, I know for me, it's like, I really want a big twist here. So it's good to be mindful then, like, oh, well, just curious, satisfied. It's like, oh, this is how my body's doing this. And then releasing. Bring the arms down, pause. So we're going to take a little balance and a twist here. Okay, so we're going to balance on your right leg. As you balance on your right leg, you're going to lift your left knee up. Reach your arms out to the sides. And then you're going to twist to your left. You can take your right hand across and hold that left thigh up. Twisting. Keep working that action of the hips pointing forward. Lifting the lightness around the heart. If you want to, you could play with straightening both legs. So that left leg is straightening out. Smile, half smile, and then releasing. Stay tall. Let your heart stay light as you bring that left foot down. Other side, balance on left leg. Right knee lifts up. Each step along the way, make sure there's that complete mindfulness. You're not disappointed. You're moving into reality. Reach the arms out. Start to twist to your right. Take that left hand across. If you notice, like, I'm really wobbly today, you might move to a wall. Practice with a little touch on the wall. Twisting. Possibly you're straightening the right leg. So I'm giving you just options of what to work into. Letting go. Right foot comes down. So you might notice in level 2, it's important that as I'm describing different stages of the pose, that you stay breathing and connected to your body. Okay, let's do one more sun salutation. And I'm going to bring in like a couple more standing poses. So come towards the front of your mat, palms together, arms sweep up, move to a forward bend, and then step back to down dog. Breathe. Move to your plank. Now, from your plank, I think maybe we did this last week. From your plank, you could move right to your upward facing dog if you wish to for that back bend. Onto the tops of the feet, reach your chest forward, even slide your feet forward a little bit. Keep the legs really straight. Lift up, right through the whole spine. And then back to your down dog. Lift the navel. As you're lifting the navel, we make sure we don't round the back here. Lengthen the spine. Now lift that right leg really high up. At the same time, lift your left heel up. Step the right foot forward. Let's take both hands onto your left side of that right foot. But briefly here, really hug your legs together. Long, lengthened twist. A long, just high lunge here. And then you rotate. You're going to rotate to your left completely and move into a wide-legged position, into a wide-legged forward bend. Dropping your head down. This pose can be really good before you do a headstand because it does kind of mimic that pose of dropping your head straight down and the basic inversion through your spine into your brain. Now in this pose, lift up to a flat back. So you have like fingers maybe lightly touching the floor. Pull your spine into your body. The lower back, sacrum draws in. Between your shoulder blades, drawing in. And then push right into the feet, come all the way up. Reach your arms out, move to warrior two, open right foot to the right. Left foot points in, bend that right knee. Lift of the toes. Ground your heels. Feel the feet. And make sure here's that lift of the pelvic floor. And then the back arm, the left arm comes up, you move to your down dog. Now in your downward facing dog, we're actually going to lightly touch your knees down and then take your elbows down. So we're going to move into dolphin pose. Elbows come down, and there are different variations of what you can do with your hands. We're going to do the interlacing your fingers pose. Grounding your forearms, toes tuck under, start to lift your hips way up. So this, dolphin pose. You know, typically heels will stay really lifted up in this pose. And we tiptoe forward a little bit. As you tiptoe forward, make sure that you don't then start to round your back. So strong through your back. Feel your forearms grounding down here. Your head is not touching the floor. And then knees touch down. Undo your dolphin, move back to your down dog. Your left leg lifts way up and step the left foot forward. And then as you take both hands to the right here, just make sure that you're still hugging in the thighs. Your inner thighs, both right and left, hug into the center here. Big lunge, very light. You're not just like, sinking down here at all. Back leg straight. And then as you release this, as you go to the right, you rotate again to your wide-legged position. Your full forward bend in wide-legged. This is Prasarita Padottanasana. Reaching the crown of the head to the floor. Notice that work. What does that? That's your back working to reach the head down. So all of this, these ways we tap into all this foundational work for a headstand. Now, as you go to your flat back, you have your feet wide apart in your flat back. And then you can maybe really feel the spine pulling in, but not rounding. And then as you come up, you push into your feet, you come up, you're going to go to your left for warrior two. Left foot opens to left, right toes point in. Left knee bending, extend the arms. So we notice again and again when the chatter in the mind has suddenly erupted. Often it's due to some kind of dissatisfaction with what's happening, whether it's with your body or maybe me, your teacher, like, why is Nancy having us do this? So you breathe and you feel like, I'm just going to practice this pose. The right arm is going to come up, swivel back to your down dog. Lightly touch your knees down. So if we do some preparation work here for a headstand. So I remember a teacher saying that before you do a headstand, you should be able to hold this dolphin pose for 10 minutes. Good advice. Because when we are able to do these foundational poses, again, it will seem it's just those causes and conditions that just like, and then I'm just going, to a headstand. Because all that strength is there. It's like good, architecture. The foundation is there and you can just easily build on it. Let's take dolphin pose then. Onto your elbows. You could always practice down dog instead. And yes, we are going to hold this for a little bit, just give the body some time here. So I'm interlacing my fingers. One variation I like to do is to extend my little fingers out. So it travels like through my outer forearm all the way out to my little fingers. Toes tucking under, you lift up. Reground your forearms, keeping the heels lifted, weight on the base of your big toes, and you look back to your feet. You're not looking forward to your hands. Lift the hips way up. In order to do that, you are going to use your back muscles. Breathing here. And as you press into your forearms, you might notice your shoulders lift up away from your ears. So that's exactly the action we need for something like a headstand. The hips just keep floating up, up, up. And possibly, you're listening to your shoulders. This is a very deep action for your shoulders. If it's painful, you come down. Good. Touch the knees down. Just pause here. So you could even move over to a wall if you want to. I could demonstrate this, using a wall, and you could choose if you want to use a wall or not for a headstand. So one thing you could do here is if you take your mat and I'm going to go through just a couple ways of doing this, is you could do exactly what we were just doing, except you're going to have the head on the floor and I'm going to step my feet up the wall. So I get a little wall supported headstand. So I'm going to take my forearms down. I'm going to interlace my fingers and then just place my head on the floor. Now you can do this. Again, I'm going to release my pinky fingers with my thumbs, just so lightly, base of the thumbs touching my head. Important that I lift my shoulders up and then lift hips up here. So I can feel I have a little weight on my head, but my arms are working, my shoulders are really working here. Lift the hips way up. So I just have my feet on the floor, getting a feeling for this. What a great pose to hold before you even choose to do a headstand. I'm going to lightly touch my knees down and I'm going to get a little closer to the wall. Because as I'm closer to the wall now, I'm going to lift up and I'm going to bring my feet on the wall. Like, oh, I could hold this, but I need to keep that strength through my spine. Lightly, feet come down. Sometimes with the feet on the wall, it might tend to push your shoulders around your upper back. So you might not want to use this. I'm going to show this now from another angle. I'm going to move my mat. So as I'm teaching this, feel free to practice, do some repetition. So now with my mat at the wall, one really nice way of doing this as you tiptoe into this, keeping that little bit of weight on your head, a lot of weight on your arms, is just to lift one leg. Is to get a feeling of one leg lifting up. And don't always do the same leg. And see how that feels in your neck. Like you don't want this to feel like, ow, ow, crunch. Rather, you really can feel your shoulders staying lifted up as you bring the legs up at all. And then finally, if you're bringing one leg up, and you're doing a little kick, if it feels okay, bringing both legs up. When you have the heels on the wall, it can be good to lift your head, like actually feel like, oh, I could lift my head up here. Or practice very lightly, coming right down. Another thing to do, I'm going to back up, is just to simply do this, like your headstand, you're lifting, and just a sense of bringing one leg up at a time, and then coming down, and just doing that repeatedly. Or dolphin pose. Another way of practicing dolphin is to keep the hands apart, palms face in, and just lifting up here. That might be a little bit softer action in your shoulders. Be sensitive to your neck. Good. As you're coming out of this, so that's enough work today for headstand. I don't know how far you got into that, but I just trust, especially in a virtual way here where I can't see you, that you're taking care of yourself. So as you come out of this, as we let this go, we are going to do the counter pose here of wide-legged forward bend. Because in this pose, now your head gets to hang a little bit. And as you're hanging here, just notice, how does your neck feel? So I know sometimes if I've overdone a headstand and I go into this pose where my head hangs, it can hurt. I can feel like, oh, maybe I overdid it with my neck. So please notice. It just gives that counter pose, that kind of traction through your spine, through your neck. Reach the hands forward. We'll move into a little twist. So the hands, reaching out. And then I am going to do this with you. I'm not mirroring you. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to reach through across to my left ankle or shin and lengthen the spine as you twist here. Breathe through your nose. I'm taking that right hand forward. The left hand is going to reach through over to your right shin, right ankle. Grow the spine. Breathing and feeling even the work through your legs. Your legs are straightening. Letting this go. Hands forward. Let's walk the hands back. Come all the way up to standing. Take your feet a little bit closer together. And as they come together, go into just a really kind of smooth marching action where you're just letting this kind of flow. Breathing. And yet there is kind of just a graceful lightness to this. And then pause. Grounding your feet, just lifting up. Close your eyes. And then just moving right down onto the floor. Take your legs in front of you. And we're going to move into a seated twist here. So your legs extended out in front of you. Let's take the right knee and your right knee and just bending that knee and bringing the foot up and over. So you could stay here, or you could lean a little bit over to your left and fold that leg also. Now, if as you're doing this, as you're folding that leg, if it feels at all like, oh, that I don't like that, it doesn't work today, you could just keep that leg straight. So you're sitting upright here. both hips grounding, sides of the body lengthening. So crown of the head lifting up. We did a headstand where it was pushing in the floor, but now it's really lifting up. And just keep your left hand where it is. Release that right arm. Move into a half of a twist, maybe just part way. Ground your hips down. Feel the lightness travel up through your spine, and then close your eyes, twisting. Breathe to your belly. Completely free of tension here. So that's why, even, so when we're practicing mindfulness, there is a sense of the middle path. I'm not practicing half-heartedly, but as I practice wholeheartedly, it doesn't lead to tension or strain. So when mindfulness is complete, you can breathe and sense the freedom. I don't need a different body. A better pose. There's a strong sense of exploration of this moment. Untwist. Now as you untwist, both legs extend out, and then we'll bend your left knee. And as that knee hops over, you can pause here, noticing how this side feels. Your hips, knees, pull back, and then leaning a little to your right. Just fold that leg back also. Again, just being sensitive, like how this feels, all the joints. You can give your body a moment to open up to this. But see if there's any of just that that little sharp pain of ouch. Then you would re-extend that lower leg. So this side, I'll do this variation. Sitting upright, taking your right hand. Just keep it holding that left leg. And make sure this doesn't suddenly start to round back. Just stay tall. You open a little bit to the left. Just slight. Close your eyes now as you breathe. Intentional deep breath. I'm feeling my body as I'm opening into this. I know I can see this strong craving of, I wish I had a better pose. So I move past that. I let go of that and I move into what is real right now. So this is where we find the deepest joy, freedom. May we remember this again and again. Breath flowing into the whole body. Untwist. As you let go of this, you'll undo the legs completely, and we're going to re-extend the legs. And as not so much a counter pose, a little bit so in your legs and your hips as you're going to recline, and we're going to play with our fish pose. Possibly we did this last week. So let's move into fish pose and just a kind of repetition. a way of, as you move in and out of this pose, you can really sense then the lower back, the middle back, like this is traveling up through your whole spine and fish pose. So in this pose, that legs stay extended, strong, lengthened, engaged, and you recline. Now, as you lay back here, um, I like to take my hand, just kind of sweep across my head. So hair down. And then you're going to bend your elbows and just let your fingers point up. And I'm going to take you through a few variations here. So you could start just pushing your elbows down. And as you push your elbows down, your breastbone lifts up. Now, naturally, there will be a little pressure on your head. And then lift your breastbone again. Lift your lower back. Lift your middle of your back. And especially the uppermost chest to the point where your head does start to tilt back, toss back a slight bit. Stay wide across the shoulders, across your collarbones. Legs are straight, reach through your heels. And then slowly down. Arms come down. Now, one at a time, we're going to take the hands, palms down. And you're going to lift one buttock and slide your hand, your wrist underneath. Re-extend that leg. And then lift the other side, placing your hands so like your thumbs will lightly touch. And your hands are reaching down the backs of your legs. Same pose. We keep the legs strong and straight. Push into the elbows. Lift your chest. And just play with this as you're lifting up. Stay wide across your chest. Your shoulder blades draw together. Breathe through your nose and notice how this feels, this inversion, a little tossing the head back. Lift the chest. And then lowering down, you could take your hands out from underneath. And then final variation here, keep the legs straight, bend your elbows. And this time, now you can keep your elbows down. You press down, you lift your breastbone. Feel the whole back working and then lifting your hands. Take palms together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. Keep lifting the chest. Breathe into your whole chest. Making sure there's no pain or ouch or get me out of here feeling. Releasing down, slide down. Now take the arms out to the side, wide. Bend your knees one at a time. Take your feet towards the outer edges of your mat. Now you might just adjust your spine a little bit. Start to let the knees go a little bit back and forth. And this now, just your own little fluid, slow motion back and forth. Knees drop to one side. Maybe the head looks the other way a little bit. Knees go up and over to the other side. Look the other way. Breathe and know that this is like your preparation, that you're about to take Shavasana. And the body now just fluid. Almost doing nothing. But even here, really get a sense of alignment. You're not pinching or squishing anywhere. The breath can flow. Breathe to your pelvis. Drink in the breath through your nose. And then preparing now for Shavasana. You might roll to the side. You might cozy up. Make sure that you're not only warm, but that, physically that your bones and your joints are really comfortable. Otherwise, yeah, even in Shavasana, we might hold tension. So, can you find a pose where you could take maybe two deeper breaths so you can feel the whole body? When you exhale, really drop your head back. Bring your full awareness to the skin on your face. And as you practice in that complete mindfulness, this is a sign that mindfulness is complete. When you can sense this freedom of tension, even the mind moving past the words, feeling directly, I'm aware of my whole body. Right here. I'm not in the past, I'm not in the future. And letting go of any control over the breath, letting the body just release here. Might bring in the image of when a puppet is dropped onto the floor. Like all of the strings loosen, the little wood parts just drop down. So as does the muscles in your body just soften, kind of drop away from the bone. Feel the weight of your head. If it helps, you could imagine that you were laying on a soft feather bed and just sinking right into it. Your whole body completely. How do you know that you are here? What do you notice? Be aware of the weight of the legs, the releasing, dropping the legs. Aware of your belly, the softening of your belly. As you soften your belly, be aware of your lower back. Making sure lower back releasing towards the floor. Acutely aware of the stillness. Even if there's sounds around you, they're just sounds, and you're choosing to bring awareness deep into your body. chest. Space around your heart. The space of your throat. Notice the space around your eyes, your forehead, and let your awareness rest at the space around your eyes, your forehead. Dwell there, watching this space soften. The space at the forehead is the area of your third eye. And as we keep this space open, this is the physical location where we open up to the way things are and we see clearly. This is how it is now. And there's a completeness of opening to this present experience, this moment in your life, not being carried away, wondering about the future. It's right now. This is how we deepen relationships in the present with others or with ourselves. I'm going to share a poem with you by Martha Postlewaite. The title is Clearing. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize it and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worth of rescue. taking maybe a deep breath, or you're starting to move as you let go of Shavasana. And as you start to bring yourself back up to seated, hmm, noticing, it's always good to notice how the body felt. We can learn a lot right here at the end of our practice. Like, ah, how did my mindfulness go? Like, how did I connect to my body? So, may our practice continue. It's ever changing, ever growing. So much to be learned by dropping into this, the fullness of this present moment. It's where the heart really blossoms. I'm going to close with the sound of Om. You can join in if you want to. We'll take a deep inhale. Namaste. Thanks so much, everyone, for attending this level 2 class. I'll just close by just saying that at the end of my classes, I know we have just a handful of people here, but if you want to leave a note in the live chat, feel free to do so. As we continue, I might send little notes out about what other themes I might jump into in my other classes and the Friday class. So mostly I'm holding the Tuesday night level 2, and then Friday morning is the level 1 class. And truly, check out those archives at the Common Ground channel, because at any moment you can just touch and take a class. So I hope to see you again. And if you want to, I like to just give a little reminder that if you want to donate at all, if you want to leave a donation for me and Common Ground, that you can go to the Common Ground website. I think right on the YouTube channel of Common Ground, I think right at the top of it on the left-hand side, there is a little spot that says support Common Ground, and you could touch right there. So right on YouTube, there's a little link there. And you can say, I would like to, support Nancy Boler. And so that's how it's working at Common Ground right now, is that they'll give you an option of which teacher would you like to direct your donation toward. So it is completely up to you what brings you the most joy and happiness. And, I so recognize that everyone is at a completely, just the spectrum of where people are at right now with their ability to give back. But we, mostly wish that you continue to practice. And if you have any questions, you could always send them to me directly. You can send it to nancy@boleryoga.com. So I'm going to leave it there, and I wish you a beautiful practice. Thanks, everyone.